Welcome to the Moon God Pod. I'm your host, JwowLax, also known as Jason Harrell. I got my main man as my co-host, LoveOx, and today we are bringing you Black Sheep Rule. We are the Moon Gods. This is the Aku community. I myself am a Moon God. I also hold Mega Moon Gods. LoveOx is a Moon God. He holds Mega Moon Gods as well as Moon God statues. And of course, BlackSheepRule is one of our community members, very supportive of the community, very active. And it was a no-brainer having you on as one of our first guests as we start this podcast to spread the word about Micah Johnson's vision with Aku and the community. As always, whatever you hear on here is not financial advice. Do your own research, but we are certainly excited. I've been excited for pushing 2 years now that we've been a part of Aku, and it's only getting better. And to sit there and say that we are in the first inning of this, I'm going to ask you, Black Sheep Rule, what inning of Aku in this journey would you say we're at?
Oh, good. First, I have issues with LoveOx having that statue, okay? Because I'm very competitive, and I tried getting one. And I forget the gentleman's name. Somebody in England grabbed the last one right before I got it out of the list of 100 of them. And so I'm still bitter about that. So if I ever come in your house and see it, I'm just giving you a heads up. If it's missing, it wasn't me. But other than that, getting back to your question, the inning, I would say the top of the second, right in there. Yeah, maybe in between the first one and a half innings in. Yeah.
And how did you come up with Black Sheep Rule?
That goes back to I never felt I fit in everywhere, or I was more like, even growing up, I was like a little pot smoker, but then I was also a nerd, and I'm going back into the 70s and 80s. I'm 54 years old. So I was able to fit in wherever I went, rather, but I never felt part of one group. So I was never the jock crowd, but I mean, I was able to hang out with people, heavy metal heads, and then video game geeks. And those groups would hardly ever meet, but I was like a bridge. And again, I always was comfortable in all of them, but never felt truly at home in any of them, if that makes sense. So that adapted to how I went through life, always treating people well and just doing what I do, but not ever wanting to be part of something. And it really annoys the hell out of my wife because I'll do something and then I get bored, or I do my own thing. I'm very independent, and I get bored easy, but I always like to get fully involved in what I do for that time, if that makes sense. But I'm like a cat with shiny new objects.
LoveOx, do you want to give them the bad news about the truth behind the statues?
I suppose I will. So, Black Sheep Rule, I actually have one of the 10 that automatically grants the user Moon God status. So it's even better than those 100 you were referencing earlier. To rub it in your face just a little bit.
You don't have to rub it in, because I don't have an issue with Moon God. I mean, I'm there 5x and the ability to go to 8x, so I'm okay on that. So I'm not going to let you get to me on that.
Wow, the ability to go to 8x. Did you hear that, JwowLax? Those are fighting words from where I'm from.
I know. Well, I think you guys could go to 7x without purchasing another 3. Is that correct?
I've got 3 complete. I could get 2. I need 2 chapter 2s, and I would have 5 total. I've been on the fence of that, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, if I know that if I complete those 2 additional sets, then eventually taking profit might be kind of harder to do.
Yeah.
So that's good, but especially where we're at right now, if you're going to complete a set, now would probably be the best time to do it.
Oh, it would be. It would be. And it's funny because I contemplating selling a set. It popped in my head for about 10 seconds. I don't know if I'll ever be able to sell a set. I don't know. I got my 5. Any above that, I could easily sell. Like, I have some rando chapters I've been adding here or there. Not a lot. I mean, and I heard you talking last week. I'm definitely a chapter guy over an Akutar gentleman. So, yeah, just I love the chapters. Go ahead.
Yeah, Black Sheep. I find myself continually amazed by the diversity and the different kinds of people that are represented in the Aku community. One thing that I always like to ask folks is, what was the initial piece that caught your attention? How did you find it? And what's the story there?
My wife we read about NFTs, or my wife, she works in tech, and we've had crypto forever. I mean, we are, I give the wife all credit on this, but we own Ethereum from the ICO.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were early, but it's yeah, and so that's awesome on her. I take no credit for that. As a matter of fact, I'm in the financial markets for real life, and I would have advised her selling. I did advise her to sell, but never all, so she can't hold that against me. But I said take your profits out when it was worth X amount, and never sold a share, and she's able to just not look at it ever, unlike me, who watches every market move to the second, which can be helpful or hurtful depending on how well you want to do in the long term. Back to the question. I'm sorry, I got on a tangent there.
Tangents are welcome.
No, what was the question again? Forgive me. Forgive me.
Lovox?
Yeah, the
Lovox?
question. Yeah, the question was, what was the initial Aku piece that got your attention and got you down the road that you're
Yeah.
on
So
right now?
got it. Sorry about that. The wife was going on about NFTs, and I think the first one we purchased was Bitcoin Angel. And we were like, this is crazy what's going on with this market. And it was either the next day that Aku, the first chapter, came out, and my wife bought one. And the next day I said, this is something. And I picked up one. And ever since then, we said, let's start adding. So when chapter 2 came out, we added 2 chapter 2s. But at that point, I started trading around them. And I traded probably 10 chapter 1s and 2s. And by the time chapter 3 came around, I said, let's go for 5 sets at that point. So we were going to outlay, we figured 50,000 over the next. Originally, Micah said it would be several years. So we figured, okay, we can outlay 50 grand over 3 years or 2.5, 3 years, whatever it is. Little did I know it'd be moving fast and furious and all out within a year. But we were on from the beginning. I love the message. I love everything it spoke about. It was just so different than anything I've seen.
What do you think in terms of the mega and the Akutars? Like really, I think the Akutars is what onboards like more of the NFT community. It was so difficult, with the chapters. It's amazing art. I think I mean, it's obviously my favorite, but it was kind of hard for people to kind of grasp in the NFT ecosystem with the chapters. And then we have the Akutars, but as much as I enjoy the Akutars, it really seems like this mega OG, especially with the commercial rights, is something that's been slept on hard. As of this morning, I think the floor is right around 7 ETH.
Oh, wow, that's good. Honestly, I don't even look at the floors on this. I have all mine, and I haven't sold any. I added 2, and I'm not worried about it. I just forget about it. And the commercial rights, I always tell people, Micah got me this far, and I made money 10 times over. I'm fine. Whatever he does, he could drive the bus off a cliff, and I'm okay. I'll go down with them. I'm not going to criticize. They're trying their best with RD, Summer, and I'm just along. I always said he's driving my bus. So the commercial rights, I won't probably ever get involved. It's just beyond what I want to do. I heard you guys chatting. It sounds great. So I could piggyback onto something that would be of interest, but anything that's very time consuming, no. The mega OGs I love, but my one criticism, I find we're getting a little fractured. There's so many different silos. Like there's a mega OG chat, a Moon God chat, and I just don't have the time to keep up with it. And also I have all mine in my safe wallet, so I don't want to ship them back and forth. And I'm just for it, sort of like set it and forget it. And the chapters I love because I could just sit down and watch 10 right through, and it's calming to me. I love them. That's the artwork I really appreciate. The whole gaming utility, I don't know where it's going to go. Again, I don't have really a strong opinion because whatever they do, I'm trusting those guys know it and ladies know it way better than me. So I'm going to just turn over the keys, let them drive it all.
I think it's interesting that turn the keys over to Micah, because there's many times like we got onboarded really for the NFT space with NBA Top Shot, and I remember.
Guys, I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. We got fans in the gallery. but with the NBA Top Shot, you know, though we were right there when it really surged, and then we went.
Yeah.
You know, we rode the wave and we rode it all the way to the beach. But you know, there was so many times where they were already making what we now see as kind of mistakes, and I kept saying, it's like, I don't, I know I'm not a dumb guy, but this is such a new space, like with Roham or the people that were behind Top Shot. It's like, I'm hoping they're smarter than I am. I will say that every step of the way so far, Micah has been smarter than me.
Yeah.
However, there is a lot of times where I'm just kind of like the speculation wheels, especially in our channel, can get really going. You know, when he sits there and says, "Oh, wait till you see what we're cooking," or wait till, like, even the partnerships, the speculation that we had. Now they ended up being great, but boy, like, I remember Micah posted something about you know, like it was like a black car in like a PJ that went to Virginia, and then we're trying to figure out, like, is he meeting with like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos?
I have a funny one. RD and I gave him shit about this a few weeks ago on another call I'm on with him. He mentioned, oh, the final chapter will be fire or something. So me and a few other people, I forget who it was, just started accumulating the chapter 3. So now I have 3 extra chapter 3s. I paid a quarter for 0.25 each. I'm fine. I could sell them. But I just laughed that, you know, we try and grab any alpha, like you're saying. Any alpha that's out there, we try and grab onto. Yeah. And it's sometimes wrong. But with those guys, they're a lot different. I feel Micah and team, we know they have our best interest at heart. Any other people, I'm not so sure about that, or they may, but like, I don't want to drop any names where I think something went off the rails, but I have a few that I was very bullish on to the same level as Aku. Aku was always number one, but then I had 2 other artists, huge bullish on, and just flooded the market with too much stuff. So when 15,000 Akatars hit, I was a little concerned there might be a flooding of the market, but when you look at how big the world is and what he has planned, that's a whole nother story. Do I think it'll be as big as Mickey Mouse? Probably not. The whole world is always trying to do a Mickey Mouse, and I hope it is. I'll be sitting pretty, and I like the message. But I say, even if you're 10% of Mickey Mouse, you're friggin' huge. So even 10%, shoot for Mickey. Don't shoot Mickey, but shoot to be Mickey. And if you come up short and even make 10%, you've done awesome in this world. Because Mickey is an iconic brand that's lasted 80, 90 years right now. And to top that, to knock that off, I don't know to even get to that level, if that's realistic. But I want my people who I'm backing to have that goal. It's not my goal. And I don't have the time or the brain power to put that forth, but that's what they want to do. God bless them. I'm totally behind them.
No, I agree with you. If we have a chance to even get to half what Mickey is, we've definitely done some damage. I guess a question that I have, and a question that folks ask me, and I never can answer it, I think, in a way to give it justice. But let's say that somebody comes up to you and they see that you have some kind of Aku paraphernalia on, and they say, "Oh, what is Aku? Like, what exactly is that? I don't understand." You know, what is your explanation there?
With all the bad press NFTs get, I start out by saying I have the Aku MG license plate, but nobody's asked me about that yet. I'm all over town, but you know,
it's coming.
I love
it's coming.
it. You know, I love it. Yeah. So it's cool. So it looks really great on the car out here on the Cal plates. So I just tell people it's an NFT with a mission. You know, like it helps disadvantaged children, it's education, and it's representation for an underserved population. So I really back it. And if they go NFTs are a ripoff, I just say, you know what? I've made my money 5 to 10 times over, and this is more than money to me. It's not about the money on this project. That's why I haven't sold anything. That's why I don't look at the floor. I literally look at the floor once every week or two. That's what, you know, I'm fine with that. I'm not selling any. So whatever it is, it will be. I'm along for the ride.
JWoww, I'd like to ask you the same question.
What's that?
What is Aku? Like, how do you explain that to people? Somebody comes up to you and hey, question, I see your shirt. Like, what is Aku? What does that mean? Explain that to me as if I was a novice.
So I used to bartend part-time for probably like 10 years, living out here in LA while I was playing poker, and I kind of got away from it to be more full-time entrepreneur. And then post-COVID, I realized, like, especially, you know, as a single guy, like, I was locked in my place, you know, for, you know, a year and a half, basically. So like I was really missing that social element. And then I got, you know, a little bit of COVID weight. So I went back to bartending part time to lose some weight and just to kind of socialize. And I can't help but like kind of talk about it. And every so often I'll even hear at the bar like someone saying, "Whoa, man, we need to look at this NFT," and they're explaining it from the very very early stages. And I always just the only thing I can say is when I'm pitching Aku, and it's not pitching because I get no benefit from them really getting on board. It's not like there's a referral code. It's not like my stocks go up. But what I do say is Google Micah Johnson and just see all the news that populates. And if that resonates with you, then this is something for you. And like, you know, come back and talk to me because there's no other project. Like I love Ferocious. I love like what he's doing. I like his art. You know, like I've got some Wisby, you know, bags. I've got a number of other projects, but there's there's nobody that has the real life media like outside of the ecosystem of the NFT where it's Time Magazine, it's Visa, it's NASA. Like just Google Michael Johnson, then get back to me. That's the best that I can do because it's too hard to kind of explain for a novice, and if they're really interested, then they'll really find their path.
The other thing is I mentioned a community. I mentioned it's a community, an artist, a community of friends I have now. And that comes back to the point that it's not about the money for me. Hell, I want it to go up. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not crying over where the prices are at all. Not even worried. I mean, if this goes down, all of NFT art goes down, is my view.
So let me ask you this, you're not looking at floors and, like I'm definitely, I'm not very good at like the flipping game, the day trading of
it's hard. It's hard.
Like I definitely wish I'd sold all my NFTs, in March of 21, like all Top Shot, and you wish you had kind of made these moves, but especially with Aku, it's like I always kind of knew that this was like a bit of a long term. What you collect all this, even with the free stuff that you get by holding, like we got the Akutars and whatever iteration comes next for being chapter holders or holders. When do you start looking at like a point where maybe you get rid of the set or two or three?
I could have sold my threes. I sold one at 5,000. I bought 8 of them, or I bought 10 or 11 I had. So I sold one at 5 grand, then one at 28 thou. And then I just was like, I'm fine. I saw them go up. We contemplated it, but when you're in the moment, you think things are going to go higher. And we didn't. And in relation to other NFT projects, this had a lot more room to go because I always felt it was the redheaded stepchild of all projects out there because it started on Nifty, it wasn't on OpenSea, so it wasn't taken as seriously till we crossed over, which we have a lot bigger presence on OpenSea. But I don't know when that time comes when I don't like something that goes on, or like an Akutar, honestly, I could sell one. I'm not in love with all my Akutars. I don't even love any of my moon gods. Like none do I feel the attachment I do to like chapter 2 or 3 or the airplanes one. There's so many chapters I love and I get psyched to watch, and I'm not bagging on it because I know that's the joy people get from them. But my Akutars, whatever, that's what people always like. Do you want to trade? Look if there's anything I like. And I very rarely end up trading because I'm like, well, I like that more or less. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm sort of split on it. I love the chapters. I'm a chapter guy. So, and yeah, I could sell an Akutar at any time, although I don't want to sell any now, if that answers. I'd hold my Moon God ones. I think the megas I'd hold, but I think that got really lost and crunched is I'm for drawing the name, the middle ones with the chapter backgrounds, which are awesome. The OGs, my favorite. I have a chapter 2 OG where Aku's on the train. That's like the only one that really speaks to me. And I wish I had I wish that's my dog. He's a good guard dog. Sorry about that. I wish I had the love of all the Akutars like everybody else does and what they're becoming. I just really love my chapters. And, I'm not, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, I don't want them. Oh, they're crap. I think they're really cool. I'm glad I have them, but I don't have the same attachment to them as my chapters, any of them. Is that bad?
No, I think that's actually one of the best things is because, not only like you could be a PFP guy with the Akutars, you could be a chapter guy. Like you can be both.
Yeah.
And I think that, we will have to see what else comes down the line. Like Dirk's always putting out something crazy. Like he put
Dirk
out
is incredible.
Spaceship, like so if there's like something where we all get like little spaceship. I mean, much like Bored Apes, you have the apes, then you have the mutants, then you have the kennels, and then you have now the other side. Like there are different levels that might be more attractive as people, like you align yourself. I do also kind of tell people that I feel like we are, and I could be 100% wrong, but I feel like we're like the early stages of like being a part of Facebook or Tesla, like something that's very revolutionary, but at the same time, we are not stockholders. Like we're invested and we're collectors, but at the end of the day, we don't have like shareholdings of Aku. Now, if a token comes around or there is that possibility maybe down the road, I don't know. But that's kind of where it's like there is this like kind of weird sense of like we own our NFTs. I feel like we're like in the room with Aku, but at the same time, there's nothing that's like really official.
But when you bought the NFT, was that your game plan from the get-go?
God, I don't know what my game plan from the get-go was.
That's what I'm saying. You bought a piece of art off Nifty Gateway.
Yeah.
You didn't buy something saying, hey, I'm going to give you 50% of my profit. Anything he throws us is a bone. And Mike and team is taking care of us. So I don't look at it that way. He owes us nothing. Well, he feels indebted to us because we did support him, get him where he's going by buying his art. So it's a symbiotic relationship. I love him. I wish him the best. It's not, I'm just speaking to your broader point. How much do they owe us? And Micah, if anybody will give back to the chapter holders, it will be Micah and team. It will be. So that's all you could go with. There's no guarantees. Now, NFTs could catch on, and crypto, but it might just be Facebook or Roblox or any of those other guys who really get it to mass adoption, because it's not ready the way it is to mass adoption. And I have issues with everybody trying to build their own world. RD and I go into this discussion all the time on other spaces. I question all the time where this is going. So I'm looking where I'm at now. Where's it going to be? I don't know. But odds are 95% of the projects are going to get left behind. Whatever comes out and mass adopted, you have to have this as a collectible. The early chapters, if they're collectible, they'll retain value. Like we said, punks will always have value. And this is RD's credit. We were going through this the other day. They'll have historical value. I'd love to own a punk. I just can't sell any of my Ethereum because the price is so low. So I have no way of, I feel like a poor man with a little buried treasure, and it's not a lot, but it's enough to, buy a cup of tea. But yeah, so I just come back. What is it all about? Nobody knows. It's trying to get somewhere, but there's going to be 95% will be worth nothing or just be trading cards. And if they have something desirable or the artist continues to make a name, they'll have collectible value. So I buy things that have collectible value or I really love. I have to like them. So I've cleaned out all my garbage. I'm always pruning my trees. Yeah, and one day we have to have a sidebar chat about Ferocious on that all. So I've been quietly accumulating a hell of a lot of paint drops. So just again, Micah owes us nothing, but he will treat us well to the extent he can within the law. I firmly believe that.
Like we're on the train 100%. We're just not in the front of the train, the engine. We're not in the engine room, So
we shouldn't be.
No,
we shouldn't be. He comes through for our opinions, but You don't want 509 of us running the ship. It'd be a freaking
Yeah, of
nightmare.
course.
These whole Dow things don't work, you know?
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
get in there.
Black Sheep, we're currently in the throes of a bear market. We've seen tremendous pullback in regards to volume from OpenSea. I think the sentiment is, I think it's pretty low. You know, I'm a poker player as part of my kind of hobbies, and I played the other
Yep.
day, and a guy was like, you know, NFTs. Oh my God! I mean, just such vitriol, such hate. My question
Yeah.
to you is, what gets us out of the bear market? What catalyst do you see kind of pushing us forward, and where do you see the Yaku brand once things start to turn the corner?
Well, I've called the bottom. I don't know if you saw that. I said the prices that things have moved pretty substantially off the floor percentage wise, not price wise, like dollar wise, but percentage wise. Aku's went from 30.3 to zero point 0.5. Ferocious on the paints, a quarter to zero point 0.5. Just the quality will always rise to the top. If the NFT market is going to come back, it's going to be quality. So it'll be the Ferocious, Mad Dog Jones, Aku. I used to throw fuck render into that, but I think there's too much supply out there, and maybe a little loss of the mission statement, so to speak. Um, I don't, Beeple, I own a Beeple. The quality in collectibles always comes back. If those don't ever come back, then NFTs could put it out. They're done. So if they do come back, these will do well. Beyond that, I think 95% of the year stuff has no reason coming back. And I'm speaking of, I don't want to talk bad about things like Wisby. I know it, but I'm not familiar in the ecosystem. Dave Krugman, there's a lot of good stuff out there. So I'm not stepping on their product at all. I'm just saying these are the things I'm familiar with that I'm comfortable owning. And also, I would say it's going to take time to come out of the bear market. We're going to have tax loss season coming up where people will be selling. You're going to have just people who don't ever want to come back to the space. So that's why I'm saying when it reemerges out, it might be help from Coinbase, Facebook, and any of these gaming companies, Epic with Fortnite and Roblox. And with that, there'll be slow movement. This isn't going to be things going to where they were. There's a lot of damage done. And it's the same in the regular financial markets. That's what I deal in every day. So it's just time and demand, and supply will get whittled down as people say, okay, the Ferocious or the Aku, that's a good project. There's only 15,000 of them. There's only 20,000 chapters. I say that jokingly, but in the whole world, that's not a lot. And at these prices, people are buying them, and they'll stop buying the other stuff that'll continue to go down to zero because there's no bids out there. So even if the floor is 0.1 ETH, you can't get that if you want to sell it. You might be lucky to get 0.02. So it's just going to take time. The catalyst, I think, will be adoption by somebody hitting a home run or finally catching on where it's user friendly, trades in the US dollar, like what US Nifty Nifty Gateway could have been, but they dropped the ball, I believe. And OpenSea, I don't know they'll be able to do it. I just think I'm thinking here. So it'll just take time, and I don't know what the catalyst will be, but I don't think it's coming from us, quite honestly. I think we'll go along for the ride, but it's not coming from the insular community of the NFT world right now. I think it'll be brought along by a big outside player with many billions of dollars to spend on it. And that could be years off. But I'm comfortable, if you own an Akutar and you pay $500 or $900 in 3 years, if it's worth $2,000, that's still a fantastic investment. But in crypto world, it's not, because you didn't double your money in a week. I think expectations are already reset. Now's the time bouncing along and consolidating. And also, I'm very bullish on the new artists coming out because the stuff coming out is a good quality. The builders are building. They're really putting thought into what they're doing, and it's very innovative. And this wouldn't have happened in a raging bull market. Everybody looks smart in a raging bull market. Everybody looks talented. But this is where the real money is made. You just have to have patience and a good nose for picking out what's going to last. It's not that hard. And my view is, if I'm wrong on these, I was wrong. I said I am hugely bullish on 4 projects. And I'm not going to list them all, but I'm all in on those 4. Everything else is just peripheral. I might have a few $1,000s, but my bigger ones I have considerable investments in. And if they hit, it could be retirement type money. Now, if none of them hit, shit, I was wrong. I suck. You know, I blame myself. I took the roll the dice. If I'm wrong on all four, I don't deserve to make money. That's it. That's my philosophy.
So we've got Art Basel coming up in Miami. You were there last year, right?
No, I wasn't able to make it. I have two
Okay.
small children,
Yeah.
and I also had the heart attack last year. I don't know if you knew about that. So I almost died. That was fun. And then the other thing was um, this year I'm not going to be able to make it. I'll be returning. I'll be in New Zealand for the month of November. So it's a little much to land and fly all the families from there. And the grandparents haven't seen our beautiful children, the monsters they are, for 3 years now. So we got to get over there.
So you were at least able to see what went on last year in Miami. There's a lot of talk, again, the speculation on what this year will be, 5 times as big as
Yeah.
last year. What I find it interesting because that's a weekend of like real life art, and now that the NFTs and digital are kind of coming into that space, what is something that you think could really make a mark that a coup could do for that weekend, and what would that mean if like the real big art collectors of physical art really kind of took notice?
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think the artist, the physical world's ready for it yet. That's my straight up answer. And Micah hit lightning last year. Hitting lightning twice is tough. So whatever he does, God bless him. But if he can do it, awesome. But that was so innovative and way above and beyond what anybody else did, that people are really going to try and up their game. So I'm sure somebody will up them, but it's not a. I don't want to say it like up and in a contest that way because Micah didn't plan it that way. I don't believe, but I'm just saying it just takes time, and I don't know when they're going to start noticing it. I don't. I think Ferocious is the closest to getting attention from art owners. I mean, we are art owners. I don't want to use the wrong word because I like beautiful art I have in my house, but I love my NFTs too, and I consider them art. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be main adoption this year. I think it's longer out. But it's a slow trend, and then people will look back and say, "Shit, why didn't I buy that at that price? Oh, look at that! You could have got, like it's the old people. Not even I'm talking even older than me. I could have bought that Mickey Mantle card for $50. But you also forget my dad was a huge baseball card collector, and he had these mantles are selling for millions now. The 52 mantle, and he had I think about 50 of them. And he back then in the 70s, he paid like maybe $25, $50, and he sold all of them for close to 100. So if you doubled your money, you're not saying now they're going for millions of dollars. But at that time, you could only make decisions based on trading or when to take profits with the information you have that day, not what may be, because we never know what may be. So don't ever beat yourself up. And I mean, I just bring in a lot of trading and investment philosophy because I'm a psychologist for people and their money in real life. That's what I do. So I'm like, if you made money, let other people make money after you. There's enough money in the world. You made your trade. Were you happy when you took it? Yes. If not, buy it right back right away. Don't have buyer's remorse. So I don't know. I just, I go off on tangents because I see so many questions like, how do I know this? We don't know. So we work with the information we have each day.
So was there a moment where it just like as you said, like you kind of took us through your introduction of Aku, but again, like those chapters, you were expecting it to take years, as that was the first idea, and then he kind of rushed, sped up the process, and we got to Moon Gods within 1 year. I remember Lovox and I, we were just I just had this thought, and I called him up, and it was when chapter 3 was there was
Chapter 3. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, there was 4 of them sitting at 6,000, almost like I feel like a year ago around this time. And I just said to him, I was like, I want to get them. Like I see value there. Like I believe that's going to be the bottleneck, and to being a moon god. I was like, but if I buy 2, it's not going to do anything. But if we buy 4, so I talked him into buying 2 as well. And it was one of the best things I would guess that we did, but that was when I was kind of I was no longer like the thought of kind of flipping out of my chapter ones and chapter twos was gone. And it was like, let's kind of put, the pedal to the metal. But it also, when we did that, that's when a lot of kind of momentum kind of happened. And then of course, Miami comes along and we
Yeah.
really hit a strong 6 month stride. Was there like just this moment, even after you decided to kind of go with 5?
I think it was, yeah, I saw, certain things a few times a year in the investment world, I see something clear as day. And I am just like, how are people not seeing this? And I said to my wife, they had trouble with the chapter 3. There's 1,900, whatever the number of the 1,100 of the first one, or 1,400. There's 900 of chapter 2. There's only going to, right now, there's only 300 sold, or whatever it was. I go, when this opens up, buy as many as we can. And let's just hold them. We'll flip a few. Our goal was, maybe sell them for 1,500, 2,000. But I just said, keep buying them. We'll hold 5, and we'll have the sets we need for 4 sets, and one we could sell. One for me, one for my wife, one for our little girls each, and one we want to sell. But let's just buy them. So as soon as the button came on, as soon as it came back live, we bought as many as we could get. And there I said, this is so easy. This is money in the bank. I mean, right there, I had no doubt. And I was like, wherever it goes from here, we're fine. We're going to make a lot of money in this project. It's just catching on. People aren't seeing it. I know people I was on calls with people who are very big in NFTs. They're like, what is Aku? What is this? They had no idea. So that's when the light bulb went off. I mean, after chapter 2, I said I want it. But after chapter 3, I said, oh, this could be a huge moneymaker.
Mm-hmm. JwowLax?
I appreciate your commentary regarding kind of the psychology surrounding NFTs. Back in the day, Ferocious had a drop, and she did a he did a collaboration with RTFKT Studios, and that was the one where they released the sneakers, and there was also kind of this like
that went for 50 grand. Yeah.
There's a little pudgy figure that was dancing around. Well, I won that in a Nifty Gateway drawing.
Oh, wow.
And I absolutely hated it. So like my philosophy with a lot of the things that I bought on Nifty Gateway was liking the art first. So therefore, like if the market ever changed, I would never have an issue because I just enjoyed the underlying art. Well, that was one of the few Ferocious pieces where I hated it. And then the second that I won it, I sold it as fast as possible. And man, I'm telling you, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 months later, you're talking about that same piece going for almost 6 figures, which is just incredible. But that just speaks to what you're talking about.
But would you have held it to 6 figures?
If
you didn't sell it that day?
100% I would have, if I liked it. I think JWoww can vouch for that.
Yeah, he can vouch.
Yeah. If you liked it, yeah. No, I have ones that went way up and came way back down, but I'm still ahead of where I was. So, we're relatively early. If you came later, you got screwed on a lot of things, a lot of garbage projects,
Well, that's, that's the hard, you touched on it about the financial, like investment, like if I took $100,000 today and a year goes by and that portfolio is worth $115,000 in the financial world, that's
a nice return.
Yeah. But we live in this weird space where, and I think that's what's, now that we're in the bear market and all, and there was there's always that rush, that gold rush, and it's like, well, why I bought this NFT for $100? Why isn't it worth 200,000? Like, why isn't it the next CryptoPunk or Bored Ape?
A better question to ask is, why should it be?
Yeah, but people don't do that. I remember.
I know.
I remember, like I onboarded a bunch of buddies, and we're all basketball fans anyway. So the Top Shot thing was easy, and they were all the same. They were like, we're just trying to get some diaper money. They had no desire to hold anything. It was, they would, they wait in the queue, hope to get lucky, hit a pack. And back then you pay $100 for a pack and you were able to flip it for like $500-600.
Yeah, no, instant money.
So the gambling element is something that we kind of touch on a lot, and that's what kind of, like there's a lot of projects that I don't think are anywhere close to what Aku is, but they attracted the gambling element more.
I've done it. I don't do so well, but I mean, it's like I'm sitting around, this one's coming out, let me try and mint it. Most of the, I don't get killed. I don't do a lot of money in that, but it bores me now anyway. I just buy what I like. And I did do it originally till like, I was like, Micah stuff and the Bitcoin Angel, I liked it, but other stuff on Nifty, I was buying and trying to sell later in the day because it was there. It was easy. It was such a layup at that time. But that gets old. Once or two, three times, twice, you start losing money. You're like, this is done. It shut down, and then you can't sell anything. It needs to. This is good for the NFT market. It's really good for the NFT market. Get all the idiots out of here. Clear it out. Get that back to the true blood. Get back to the people who want it to grow for the right reasons, and we'll have a big success. If not, we're all wrong, and we had a blast. And I'm friends with all these people I didn't know before. And what's so bad about that?
Exactly. Well, we're running out of time. We try and keep it under an hour, but Lord knows you and I can definitely go on forever.
I'm passionate.
You mentioned New Zealand upcoming trip. I'm a huge traveler. Like I filled up an entire passport book and had to get a new one. So any chance
Beautiful.
I get. So my question to you is, what's a place that most people wouldn't think of that you have never been to that you would like to travel and see?
Place I'd like to travel and see. First thing that pops in my head is Kilimanjaro in Africa, just for me personally. It's just a goal of mine, and I don't even climb mountains. I don't even like climbing mountains that much, but it was like I'd like to hike up it. I don't know why, I don't know why that popped in my head, so I'm going to go with that. I mean, I've always thought about it as a goal.
I hate hiking. But I went to Machu Picchu in jeans, no less, and I hiked to the top overlooking Machu Picchu because I was like, well, I'm here, like I'm not going to be the guy that didn't, take the hour and a half to hike. Lovox, where are you heading to?
Where am I going? I'm probably going to Madagascar. I've got this crazy obsession with small terrestrial geckos, which is kind of strange and a little different, but I would love to see this the natural habitat of certain species. But my question to you, Black Sheep, is I find myself in the beginning stages of becoming a better cook, right? And I believe you're pretty good in the kitchen. So as a novice,
excellent. I'm not tooting my own horn.
excuse
I'm not. I'm really good. I love it.
As a novice, what can you recommend as some good like starter dishes that I can practice on and to get really good at to kind of improve my skills?
What type of food do you like?
I like Italian food.
Okay. So, and your level right now?
I'm intermediate. I'm okay.
Okay, so I would say there's a recipe for the big lasagna on the New York Times, and I can send it to you if you can't do it. It's time consuming. Everything is made from scratch, including the pasta, and that's a kick-ass Italian dish. That's hard. It's a good challenge for an intermediate cook. The other thing I would say is just one that teaches discipline and teaches you a lot about knowing your oven, knowing how food works. Do you ever cook pizzas?
I don't.
Okay, that is the most humbling thing you can ever do. I bought like an Uni oven. It was my wife got it for Christmas or Hanukkah. It's like $400, $500. But even if you don't want to spend the money, you can make them in your own oven. Making your own dough from scratch and making the sauces and and how the heat and the water and the hydration and letting the dough go for 2-3 days. First, I was going to say make sourdough bread to whip you into shape, but you liking Italian, I would recommend entering the pizza rabbit hole. It is humbling, the most humbling thing you could ever do. I launch pizzas into this field towards the ocean when I screw them up, and I think my wife will hear me curse and go, motherfucker, and she sees these things going flying off the peel, and my dog is happy. Logan's happy because he runs in the field to eat them. I'm not joking. And this is after I've been cooking them for years. I'm getting it down, but even when you think you got it down and you have people over, it's like an evil pizza phantom that screws you, man, and it's humiliating, but it's so much fun when you nail it. So all the suffering makes when you succeed with a pizza incredible. So do the pizza route. Yeah.
Well, I do not cook at all. I have water bottles in my refrigerator. That's it. And I have plastic silverware. So
I'll tell you, I mean, everybody has their shit in life, but I am so fortunate. I've been through a lot in life and almost dying last year in November. I'm in pretty good shape, pretty good health, I thought, but my doctor said healthy people die all the time of weird shit. And I was like, holy cow. So only 1 out of 8 people live with what I had. And to me, come out of it almost scot-free, not, but where I could eat whatever I want and I could climb Mount Kilimanjaro, all that stuff if I wanted to. Um, I already won the lotto. And I tell everybody this, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. So I now don't work that hard. I'm forming my own business from what I did. I work a few hours a day. If I have to work really hard during these markets, I will. But I'm just really good at what I do and I have passion. And that turns over in the kitchen, teaching my kids how to cook, making food from scratch, pure scratch. And it just gets you in touch with what's important in life. That's why I have enough money to live, but am I wealthy? No, I'm not. But I've made some pretty good financial decisions. But I don't need all that stuff. I just do the simple things that make me happy. And that is it. Having good friends. I mean, it sounds like what everybody says is so trite, but all you need are a few good friends in life and take care of yourself and really try and be in the present and enjoy what you have. There's nothing more needed than that because there's so much bad shit in the world and it's really hard to take every day for granted, but everybody needs to try and do that.
Oh, that's a great message. And, certainly Aku is full of great messages. We have daily affirmations from people all the time. I will.
Glitch.
Yeah. Glitch is always in there. He's a.
Oh, can I add one last thing?
Of course.
When I was in ICU with recovering, they're like, you can't have any visitors. It was COVID, so no family. I was chatting with you guys from Aku. It was so awesome. And you guys somebody got me a $25 Visa gift card from Miami that I said, oh, it's awesome, a chapter 2 or something of it. I mean, that's it. That's what it's about. It's community. That's what's important, man. Seriously, none of the little shit matters. So that's all. You got me pontificating. Go ahead, finish up.
So, we'll get you out on this. Obviously, this podcast is all about just profiling our community members. So, who would you like to be one of the guests coming up on the podcast? But the caveat is, you have to help us get them.
I like so many, so I'd like to know a little more about Rusty's story.
Rusty?
Yeah. She, for the longest time, I thought she was a boy, and and she wasn't, obviously. And I just want to know about her story, because you see the name Rusty. I thought it was, and a lot of times I don't know what people use as monikers or avatars. Also, Patrick James, Moon God, he's got a license plate too, and he doesn't live far from me. So we always say we're going to get together for lunch, and life is just busy, man, so yeah. So the one of those two, but I'll gladly. So many others, Doug L. But if I got to pick one, I'd say Rusty.
All right, we'll reach out. Summer I live in El Segundo, California. I think she lives.
I used to live in Hermosa. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
She lives somewhere here. Like I want to say, like in the Inglewood area. For sure, she's less than 30 minutes away. But apparently, her and Mike are flying all over the place. I think Mike is actually in Europe right now, or at least it would look that way. You never can keep up with that guy.
Hey, I remember El Segundo when there was no homes there. It was just a power plant on the beach.
Well, there's homes here and nobody can afford them. So
I know. It's crazy. Yeah. Funny.
All right. LoveOx, you got any last words?
I just want to thank you again for your time. And as things develop, would love to get you back on the pod.
Yeah, I'd love to. And I hope everyone forgives me if I just go off on tangents too much, but this is my life, so it's what I'm doing. I had a great time. Anytime we could get down, I love the deep conversations, analyzing things. And I mean, I really like, I just feel I could bring somewhat of a different perspective. So I always tell people, hit me up for anything. You could DM me for any questions you may have in real life or whatever. I'm here to help people, man. I've been lucky in life and I want to help other people. So whatever it is, you're not really ever bothering me. If you do, I'll let you know. So,
well, I believe tangents are what brought us all together anyways. Like if I hadn't gone and up to LoveOx, when we were in college and I saw this big dude shooting hoops by himself and,
Oh shit, you guys went to college together?
We did. We went to Appalachian State, and he was
Oh
shooting
wow.
around with an ABA basketball, and I'm a little shorter than him, and I went up to him and I was like, "You want to shoot around?" He just looked at me like, "Who's this punk?" And 20 plus years we're here, and then we come
That's
across,
awesome.
like I don't think anyone planned that, like the Aku and or just NFTs, like Linux onboarded me and was like, "You need to check this out. I have no idea what's going to happen, but you know, here we are." And like I learned a long time ago, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And so the best.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, I know you're trying to get rid of me, but did you
No,
guys
no.
go to NFT New York?
Yes, we
Right?
did.
Did you go? How
Mhm.
did I run into you? I mean, it was a whirlwind. But I was saying to the wife yesterday, I'm really looking forward to going back to NFT New York and just really seeing the different vibe. It's going to be fun when
We,
they
we
have it.
went we went to the first one, and
Okay, I went to the second one.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we missed that one. So
Yeah, so it'll be interesting because there was huge hype with it. Now, who knows? It might be back by then, but there's the builders are building. It's exciting times. It's not sexy or exciting on the buying side, or things you buy are down in value. But if you're looking out years, and like you said, make 15% a year, that's damn good in real life. So
real life, what is that?
we're here. This is real life, right?
Exactly. Well, that's been another episode of the Moon God Pod. I'm Jason Harrell for LoveOx and BlackSheepRule. We're going to see you next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. It helps us spread the great word about Aku. And of course, we love our community and we just want to profile our members and, not necessarily put a face, but at least a story behind everyone's PFP. And our first episode, we had just launched yesterday before the recording of this, and the response was great. Now we're hoping to go to that next level where we start, bringing the word of Aku to people outside of our ecosystem, and we can only do that when you guys, share and help us out. So with that said, it's been another edition of To the Moon God Pod. We'll see you next time.